So, hi, we are waiting some seconds for more people to joining, and then we will start speaking. So don't worry if you don't hear. Nobody's speaking.
Okay. Hello, everybody. Hi, everyone. Good evening from Ghana, Accra, Ghana. And it's nice to meet you all. I believe that with some of you, it's in the morning. And so I'm welcoming you to this good event that we're having on the internet, Special Duty. This evening, we're going to talk about how we can be This evening, we're going to talk about how we can be. Can you hear me? This evening, we're going to talk about how we are going to be peace messengers, peace ambassadors at home, our role as peace ambassadors. Anyway, my name is Ramanate. I'm a member of the World Scout Committee and a messenger of peace. And so the question is this: who are we as scouts? In recent times, life has changed dramatically. We've been faced globally with a situation that is beyond our comprehension, and thus it has created for us lots of challenges. However, as scouts, adults, and young people, we have to be responsible and active global citizens to enable us wade through these challenges. It has not been easy for most of us, but then I believe that once we are at home, we can do the best that we can to be peace messengers. We have to be peace messengers at home. But how do we become peace messengers? To ensure this, in the context of this pandemic, that is COVID-19, we need to sit back and ask ourselves. Now, this is what I want to have with you, a conversation with you. There is so much we can do as peace messengers or ambassadors in our homes. But first, I want you to look at yourself first. How do you become a peace ambassador? Then how do you become a peace ambassador in your home, with your friends, and global, that is when you are online? First, with yourself, what do you do? Remember that WHO has given us some protocols that we need to follow. Washing of our hands under running water with soap, keeping social distance, doing everything possible that will help us to believe in what has been said. We have also been told that it is important for us to cough into our elbows, stay at home. But most importantly also, whilst you stay at home, you need to exercise. Because if you do not exercise, you would end up either getting too big, bloating up, or whatever, which is not right for you. You need physically to be fit. You also have to keep your mental health in check by reading, singing, laughing. You need to laugh, you need to have fun. Getting in touch with others on phone, keeping your scout spirit very high, which is very, very important. Keep your scout spirit very, very high. Now, when you've done all these things, once you are at home with your family, that is where you actually become the peace ambassador. You have a role to play, a very important role to play. And the first thing you need to do is to begin to inspire and encourage family members in all situations especially within this time. Remember that most of our family members are so down. They don't seem to understand what is happening. Our parents may lose their jobs when it comes to such situations. And even if they don't, they are not happy to be at home. Your siblings are at home. They are not going to school. And so at this point, you will need to be that person who encourages and inspires. You need to plan together as a family for activities. Share activities like gardening. It will be very interesting to see you doing some gardening and later on seeing all these plants sprout up. Dancing, very interesting. Music, come together, dance. Cooking. Try to explore, find out if you can come out with a new menu and come together to cook as a family. It's also very important that at this point, you find time to bond as a family. And I always say that the best time to bond is when you are at table dining. Try and put your phones away. Encourage others to put their phones away so that they will be able to come together as a family. Learn common skills and share ideas on new hobbies like cooking, like I have said, gardening, etc. But there is one main thing that I also want to tell you, very important. Respect the me times of others. In such situations, there may be times where family members would want to be by themselves, just to think through things, to plan. It's a me time for everyone. And I will encourage you as a peace ambassador to encourage all others and also to make sure that others respect the me times of members of the family. Brighten your home with smiles, very important. The smile is very, very important. Keep smiling because that is what you need to help the family come together. You may be at home, yes, but remember also that your siblings are there. Maybe they need to do their homework from school. You need to help them do all these things. Help to declutter the room if there is the need to do that. But even as you're at home, also remember that we have been asked to stay at home. That means that we may not be going to church or going to the mosque or going anywhere. But together, you can come together in faith, what you believe in, pray together. And as a peace messenger, a peace ambassador, you need to encourage this and make sure that it happens at home. There could also be misunderstanding between family members, because in any case, coming together, staying together for quite a long time means that sharing the same space, that small space that you have, there could be misunderstandings. Please, at this point, as a peace ambassador, you need to make sure that you use the method of dialogue to get everyone in tune and bring the happiness, the shine, and everything back again in the family. Whilst at home, you have your phones. So you may be at home having conversations with your family, but you should also interact with your friends, because some of your friends may not be too lucky to have a big family for them to engage with. They may be alone, or they may be just with their parents. So it is important that you make phone calls and have conversations with them. Send inspiring messages to them. Make video calls with groups of friends and have good conversations. Join virtual discussions on interesting topics. Invite friends to join online events like Joti. If you have not yet done that, after this session, invite a friend. Tell a friend or tell another friend that there is an interesting event going on online. And then encourage friends to stay at home. We've been asked to stay at home. Encourage them to stay at home and observe all health directives that has been shared with us. Make sure that you stay safe, your friends stay safe, your family also stays safe. And that is not all. Whilst you're at home, you also be online talking to other people. It's also very important that at this time, you are also a peace ambassador. As a peace ambassador, be circumspect about what you post or share online. Remember, it is not everything we see on social media that is true. Promote peaceful social interactions and social actions to fight against COVID-19 without creating fear and panic. Keep your smile. And I keep on saying that as a peace ambassador, your smile alone can make other people feel at ease and feel happy. Very important, keep your smile. And so, my friends out there, I have said a bit about activities that can be done at home. But let me add a few more to it. I talked about reading. Very important to read. I talked about making calls to others. Very important to do that. But what is also very, very necessary is for you to be positive in everything that you do or say. You need to inspire and encourage others. Remember, you are a peace ambassador. And so for everything that you do at the back of your mind, you should bring smiles and peace in the hearts of everyone that you are interacting with. Now, let me give you another game, which I've tried to do with some young people in my home before this time. Just coming together and talking about where each one comes from. Where do you come from? What's the name of your parents? What's the name of your friends? You know, you say all these things. And then after everything has ended, you start asking questions. What did I say? What did this other person say? It will interest you to know that you are going to learn from each other. You may have lived with your parents for so long, but there's so many things that you can learn from them from now on. And so let's continue keeping the spirit high as scouts, as young people, even as adults, because now is a time where we need each other. We need everyone to make sure that we are happy, we are positive, and we are encouraged to go through these times, which is not normal. Thank you very much. And I'll be happy to get some questions from you.
So, hello, Jemima.
Yes.
Hello, everyone. Well, my name is Diana Nail. I am supporting Jemima presentation, and I have some questions that the people are asking in the box. So the first one is, what is your name and where are you from, Jemima? Maybe they were missing the first part.
Okay, you missed the first part. So my name is Jemima Nate, and I'm a member of the World Scout Committee, a messenger of peace, and I'm speaking from Accra, Ghana, in West Africa.
Great. Then they are sending greetings from Colombia, from El Salvador, from Colombia again. And here we have some questions. The first one says, how can we face COVID-19 without creating fear?
Say it again.
How can we face the COVID-19 without creating fear?
That is a very, very good question. That's a very good question. And this is what I do myself. I try as much as possible not to be reading everything, especially things that may create fear. Because once I have read it and I'm afraid, I'm going to repeat the same thing. I'm going to tell others, I'm going to share it to others. The point is, we have a situation. It may be grim, but hopefully we are going to get a positive time soon. And so my advice to you is this: be careful what you read. Like I mentioned in my presentation, there are some of these stories, there are some of these posts that we read, which may not be true. It's creating fear and it's creating panic. So if possible, avoid these things, avoid reading them, take other things to read, have other activities to do, and just believe that whatever protocols that we have been asked to follow by World Health Organization is what we should do. Wash our hands, cough into our elbows, use sanitizers, and I'm sure we will be fine. Stay home and stay safe. And that way, I believe that this fear and panic would come down.
Great. Another question says, how can we create hope at this time?
Hope is when,
yeah.
Hope, yes.
Yes.
Hope is when you believe, say it again. Hope
yes,
is when, yep, go ahead.
How can we create hope at this time?
Yes, and that's why this is what I'm saying. It's when you believe that something will get better, when you are positive, when you put up a smile, when you try to make others feel the same like you are feeling, when you come up with games, you come up with activities, so many things that would put away all the fears, then you are encouraging hope. You are beginning to believe that all is going to be well. And so again, stop reading too much of articles and other things that is creating fear and panic, and keep up your spirit high. In any case, if you believe in a faith, if you're a Christian, pray. If you're a Muslim, pray. Whatever you believe in, just keep that hope high. Believe that all is going to be well, and very well soon.
Great, thank you. All of them are saying thank you very much for your inspiring words. And another curious question, they are saying, how is scouting like in Ghana right now?
Interesting question. Scouting is good. Just before I started this presentation, I had a conversation with one of the leaders who was telling me that they had actually gone out there to talk to people about how best to wash their hands and all that. You know, in Ghana, we have got rural areas where it is very important that we have scouts who go there to talk to them as well. But anyway, they are making sure that they are keeping safe. So scouting is okay, especially at this time. They are doing the best that they can.
Perfect, perfect. And just reading all the messages, they are sending greetings from Toronto, from Brazil, from Lebanon, from the United States, and many, many other countries.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's too fast. And another question, how can I communicate to my family when we are not close?
That's an interesting one. It takes time to bond with others. But the good thing is that now you are living together in the same house. And so you may need to find a way. It's going to be coming out with an activity. You need to know what each of them loves to do and find a way of making sure that that activity that you are coming up with will engage everybody. It's not going to be smooth from the beginning, definitely. But I believe that if you start it one day, second day, third day, by the time you get perhaps to the third day, all others will start getting interested. You can start talking about your scouting experiences. You know, just say that, look, I just want to tell you a story of the last time I went to camp. Gradually, they'll get closer to you. But then make sure also that you ask them to come up with activities. You should not dominate. Do the best that you can to ask others to come up with activities so that together you go through those activities. And I believe that gradually you are going to bond again.
Great. Excellent. Another one says, what should be the critical role of peace ambassadors?
The critical role of peace ambassadors is to make sure that there is peace. I mean, that's the funny one. But just make sure that everyone feels safe, feels okay, feels happy in the home. Remember that there may be times where things may not be as you expect. And that's when you need to use dialogue. Be a role model yourself. Because if you are getting angry with others, then you are not a role model. So be the role model. That's why when I started my presentation, I talked about how you can first be a peace ambassador, the role model that you're supposed to be. And so once you are able to show by example what it is, I believe that you are going to succeed in whatever you want to do.
Great, excellent. And another question, how do we help people when they speak to us about a difficult situation at home?
You're a peace ambassador. The first thing you need to be able to do is to listen. You need to learn to listen. And don't jump quickly to give answers. It's very important that you listen to what somebody says. And then you would be able to know if it's a really difficult situation or it's not. If it's a situation that you will not be able to solve, it's important to talk to somebody else who can also advise. But you need to find out from who told you. Are you happy that I discussed with somebody else? You need to let the person know. Because in certain situations, you may be overwhelmed by what it is. And so you need somebody else to intervene. But I believe that listening, thinking through it, perhaps going to bed and waking up the following day before you talk about it again could give you the answers. So just listen first, think through, and see how best you'll be able to go about it.
Great. Thank you. We are receiving more and more messages from Egypt, from Italy, from the United States, UK, the Netherlands, Jordan, and many, many other countries. So thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you.
From Ecuador as well.
It's nice talking to all of you.
And this question is very funny. It says, how much fitness should we get per day?
How much fitness? I think it depends on you. And the funny thing is, this morning I tried to, do some physical exercises, and after 10 minutes I was down. And so it all depends on you, how fast you can go. And it should be done, daily, and eventually you would have had done enough to make you physically strong. Yeah. I can't give you the time. It depends on you. Yeah, it depends on your strength.
Great. Another question says, if you know some of the projects from Message of Peace who are working related to the COVID-19.
I cannot come up immediately with one, but what I have seen others doing is they are educating community members about how best to go through the hygienic process to get themselves fit, which is the most important of all. I have seen projects where some scouts and adults are sewing face masks. I have seen projects where others are also giving out what we call here in Ghana, Veronica buckets. And let me explain Veronica buckets to you. So many homes in the rural areas don't have running water through taps. And so a bucket, you have the tap which is put through the bucket, filled with water, so that it can be opened just like it will be done in a sink. So we have a lot of people who are also distributing these things. And also we have other projects in other NSOs that I have seen. PPEs are being given out. And so I think that it depends on what you are able to do. It depends on what is very necessary in the community in which you are. But it's also very important for you to know that in as much as you want to help, make sure that you are also very safe. Protect yourselves as well, because you would want to help, but if you are not healthy, you would not be able to help. Yeah.
Great, excellent advice. Another question says, how can we spread peace and happiness in our Scout groups for younger people? For the CAPs, for example.
Young people, most of the times, can easily be made happy if they have a leader who understands them. A smile on your face means a lot to them. Trying to talk to them, telling them stories, giving them appropriate games, putting them in groups so that they will be able to come up with activities. It doesn't take too much to make young people happy, especially the little ones. But it will depend on how you are able to manage them. And so my advice to you is this: talk to them, find out what it is that they want to do. Don't let it be like, I am the leader, and so I know everything. If you go about that way, you would not be able to make them happy. Remember that they also know what they want. You are only there to guide them. So talk to them, find a way of fine-tuning whatever they are doing or whatever they want. And I believe that you'll be able to put happiness into them.
Great. Another question says, how do you stay true to yourself when you are feeling bad about yourself during lockdown?
Interesting. I believe a lot of people are not feeling happy now. But first, you need to understand the situation. You are on a lockdown because there is a pandemic out there. That's why you are indoors. Once you get this right, especially knowing that if you move out there, you are going to create problems for yourself by bringing in the virus into your home. That is one thing. Once it settles in you, then you need to start asking yourself, and so if I need to stay indoors, what is it that I can do for myself during this time? You may have a lot of things that you would put on paper, but then you need to prioritize it. I believe that all of us have got something that we have always wanted to do, which we were not able to do. But this is an opportunity for us to do it. And so it depends on you. Like I'm saying, first understand that there is a situation out there, and it is better to stay in and be strong and be fit and be alive than being out there. That is the first point. Second point, what is it that I can do to enable me go through this time of being indoors? I'm sure you'll get something to do. Once you have done that, take it one at a time. Gradually, you will be able to understand yourself. It doesn't come in a day. It takes time. But eventually, you begin to understand and appreciate yourself and appreciate the reason why you need to be indoors.
Great. Thank you very much, Jemima. Everyone is very happy with your answers and sending greetings. And another question. How do you think the modern society will be after this virus? It will be changed?
It could change.
It's difficult.
But I believe that things could change. But it also depends on us. If we previously, we weren't washing our hands continuously or frequently, and now we are doing that. Will we continue doing that? If we continue doing that, that means we have got a change of life. If previously we were not careful about, everything, and now we are careful, things will change. When it comes to jobs, things will change. When it comes to schools, and the interesting part let me just give you an example. In my country, we don't normally do online education at the primary school level, but now every school has to do it. And so the question is, things have changed. Are we going to stop it after this period? No, it's a change. And so we just have to make sure that all the positive things that we are doing now, we continue doing it. And it's also a time for reflection for every young person, everyone, every young person, every adult. What is the future going to be like? How do you fix yourself into that future? Very important for all of us to start thinking now and planning towards the future, because things will change.
Great, great. Thank you very much, Jemima. There are many, many, many comments and questions. I'm trying to put all together. Don't stop sending anything, but I'm trying to join some questions just to focus all the topics. So another one says, is there anything we can do to help the Wither community from our homes without going out?
I think so. I really think so, because you have neighbors. You have the telephone number of neighbors. You may not know a lot of people, but there are those that you know. They are in the community. Picking the phone and saying, hello, how do you feel today? How are you? Are you okay? Means a lot. They may have issues. They may tell you, look, this is what I wanted to do, but it's been very difficult for me to, let's say, call the electricity company or the water company or whatever. And you could help them by doing these things for them. So you may be at home, but the phone that you have can help the community as well. And of course, you can also send messages to, if there are incidents around your home, you can also call the police if there are such, bad incidents or anything like that. So there is a lot you can do with your phone.
Good. And a little related to this question, someone says that the people in his country right now is in a great argument between those against the government and those who are into the government. How can I do my part as a peace ambassador? What can I do? How can I help through online?
I think that this is a problem even in my country, as scouts, we try not to be political, but we try as much as possible to help peace to reign. So if there are people your age group, and you should be able to talk to them. Look, what is important now is for us to jump over this situation. We cannot have the best of everything, but it's important that we begin to understand what the situation is. Whatever it is, do the best you can just to let people understand that all we need is peace, all we need is getting over this situation. When it comes to politics, people will talk a lot, but try not to, create any confusions, even from your own side. Let's keep focused, let's keep peace, and let's make sure that things are better in terms of, people understanding themselves first, before even understanding the situations as it is.
Great. Thank you very much, Maima. We are receiving some greetings from the Philippines, from Colombia, and we have a question from Colombia that says, how many hours do I need to become an MOP?
How many hours?
Hours of service, I suppose.
Yes, you need to run a service. I think that I would advise that perhaps you speak to the MOP coordinator in your NSO, and that could be very helpful. Yeah, because it all depends on what the NSO is looking for. Yeah.
Good. So we have many, many questions related to the answers that you already gave during your presentation. I think this presentation will be somewhere in the website after that, just for people to check and to see the slides if they want. And yeah, I'm just reading the last ones. And well, to finish with your presentation, because it's already 40 minutes from the beginning, the last questions say, what is your opinion about the recent problems around the world in general, right?
The recent progress.
The recent problems.
That's an interesting one. My opinion is, do I really have an opinion? No. I mean, all these things have just crashed on us, you know, without us being ready for it. And so it's a health issue. And I believe that once it's a health issue, the best we can do is try as much as possible not to get ourselves, you know, sick by doing the best that we can. There's going to be a lot of things that would follow. And that's why we also have to make sure that we are in charge of our mental health, because things are not going to be as easy as they were before. It will take time. It will roll gradually, and it will take some time. And so my opinion is simply this: do the best you can, stay at home, do not get into situations where you'll be sick, be in charge, you know, of yourself. Try and be careful so that you do not have issues with your mental health. Bond with family, be happy, be hopeful. Just tell yourself that there is a better future ahead. There is a better world. There is something greater than what we are going through now. And I believe you'll be fine. Yeah. And that's what we all have to do the best we can to be fine, even after all these things.
Great. And the last question.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the last is very interesting. How did you become a member of the World Scout Committee?
Interesting one there. So it's a long journey. It's a long journey. I started from leadership from my country, and then I got to the National Executive Committee level, and I got elected to the Africa Scout Committee level, and then I went through another election to the world level. And so it's been many years of working at the leadership level and going through elections. I think it also has to do with your hard work. You need to work hard. You need to make sure that you are engaged with Scouts and doing the best you can at the leadership level. And so that's how I got to be in the World Scout Committee. Yeah. I hope I have answered your question.
I think yes. So how do you feel, Jemima? For more questions, or it's okay for you, or how do you feel?
I feel very good. I'm so happy. It feels very good that even in this situation in my home, I'm able to speak to lots of Scouts and young people all around the world. You know, it's a good feeling. It's a good feeling to know that it is a big family, and at any time we can be together. That's how I feel.
Great. Well, here the technical people are telling me that we have still like 4 minutes, so okay. we have more time for few more questions. Another one says, greeting from Bhutan, and it is 2:35 a.m. in the morning. And my question is, how can I help infect people without getting myself infected?
Yes, this is a very good question. You need to be very careful. You need to play safe. You need to be safe. You need to have, if you have to go and talk to people, first you need to respect what the health ministry is saying in your country. Because even though we are Scouts, we are also listening to the guidance that is being given by the health ministries of our various countries. So that's the first thing. What are you supposed to do and what are you supposed not to do? And if you are able to speak to them, then you need to make sure that you have your nose mask, you have your gloves, you keep social distance, and you do everything that we have been asked to do to keep ourselves safe. But I'll still repeat this. You need to keep yourself safe, because that is the most important thing. Remember that, like it's said here in my country, if you do not go out, you do not bring the virus in. But if you go out, then you bring the virus in. So it all depends on what the education is in the various countries. So please listen to what the Ministry of Health says, and then you can take it from there.
Great. Thank you, Jemima, for your advice. And this is something that maybe you know. Which are the duties of a messenger of peace after receiving the recognition as an MOP?
You need to have a lot of projects as an MOP. As a messenger of peace, you need to come up with projects. You are a messenger of peace. And so in situations where there are issues like what we have now, you sit back and ask yourself, what activity can I put up so that it will be helpful to others? That is what is most important. You don't actually wait for anybody to tell you what to do, but you need to look at the situations that are around. Messengers of peace could do so many things. At the end of the day, it's making other people happy, inspired, putting a smile on other people's faces. And so even when it comes to your own home, if you have children there who cannot read, you can take them through reading lessons. You can do so many things that can put smiles on the faces of people and help them to feel comfortable in themselves. That is what is needed from a messenger of peace.
Great, great. Another one says, how can we balance efforts to help people from COVID-19 with other global issues such as climate change?
So I've always been asking myself questions even as I sit. I ask myself that, do we have to forget about everything else that is happening around us and just focus on COVID-19? Yes, it's a health issue. It's a critical issue. We need to talk about it. But we should also make sure that we are also looking at other things happening around us. So we've been told that since we all got into our rooms, the pollution level has come down, rivers have become less polluted, and all these things. So we have to start thinking about it. When eventually we come out, what are we going to do to make sure that climate change, to make sure that all other issues are also getting better? So even as we are combating this, even as we are home and we are thinking about this, we should also start focusing and thinking, what can we do? So yes, don't put these aside. Let's put everything together. The only reason that we are now focusing on this is that it is a critical issue now. I'm not saying the others are not critical, but this is, putting it on a range, this is higher, maybe now than the others. So yes, we have to do everything side by side and make sure that we have a better world, as we always talk about.
Great. Well, I think we are done with the questions in general. There are many, many more, but I think you answered all of these questions during your presentations. And if you want to check again the presentation, it's going to be online, all the presentation and what Jemima said and the slides as well. So you can see the recover.
Okay, so let me use this opportunity to say thank you to all of you. Thank you so much. Please stay at home, stay safe, stay strong, and stay well. Thank you very much.
Thank you.